was going about their days pretty much after the events of what had happened in the ruins of Trisindar Manor. Draxus has received a vision from his deity and is contemplating things. And Lothar has also received a vision. But we're not going to focus on any of those people at the moment. We're going to focus on Obi. Obi has been strangely absent from everybody's view, and that's because he's not been able to really meet up with anybody. Obi, the night of the travel into Trisindar ruins, you tired were able to you were tired and you went to go get some sleep and still being on edge from having to fight your way through such a pretty much small army and save the loved ones of your best friend. Even though you were tired, you were still abuzz with energy, and thus it took a while to fall asleep. And your sleep wasn't very peaceful. And then you heard something. When you woke up, you saw Halia somehow was able to not only let herself into your locked house, but was able to move unheard until she was at your door to your room. You wake up to Halia there in front of you, smiling with a look of pride, almost, not in herself, but as if a parent looking at a child. What do you do?
As my eyes flutter open, I gaze at the woman standing before me. I just kind of pinch the bridge of my nose. It's like, ugh, it's not really a good time here. But then, in silence, I point towards my wife who's sleeping beside me and then motion towards the door, hoping to lead Holly out to the hallway where we can actually talk.
She nods. As you get up and you clearly sleep out of your eyes, you realize that Holly is not wearing her normal attire. She's not wearing the traditional like long clothing of a merchant woman, the long flowy dress, the pinafore, and all the shop wares that go about it. No, she's wearing leathers very similar to yours, except they seem darker, more navy, if you had to guess, though you can't really tell colors in the dim light and darkness of your house. You'd have to light a candle or something to get a real good view. But by the way she seems to be almost be blending into the shadows in the background, it's doing its job very well.
Nice little
She
nod to traditional ninja garb.
mhm. She heads out into the hallway and her footsteps, it as she walks, it's almost as if she wanted you to hear her footsteps just then because there's no sound coming from each of her steps.
So I take it this means you've got another job for me.
Sort of like that. Um, I want to pay you back for actually going through with all that. Not with coin, but with something far more valuable.
vacation.
We don't get vacations. Well, you might not be getting vacations if you decide to join, I should say.
I was
Meet me
holding
back
out
at my
hope.
shop. What was that?
I I said I can hold out hope for vacation time.
Meet me back at the shop soon.
Alrighty.
She opens up one of your windows and just jumps from the second story.
There's a front door, you know.
Do you actually call out enough to like wake up your wife?
No, I kind of like internally monologue that. Kind of annoyed. It's like, open up goddamn windows.
Do you actually follow her?
I
Not
look
out the
up.
window, but like, do you go to her shop?
I look back in my bedroom at Moira, who's sound asleep, and then be like, "Well, hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'd really like to be able to try and sleep and get back to normal. This has been kind of a emotional and physical wreck the last day or so.
Hmm.
So I leave my house out the front door like a normal person.
Like a normal person. Making your way down to the miners' exchange to where Thalia had asked. You get to the door and it's already slightly ajar as if she's expecting you, which she is. Do you open it up and go inside?
uh, no, I actually just
No.
open up her window and come in through there and like, see, you see how irritating that is?
Going through the window, you climb in and you get into the actual shop proper and you look over at the door and look over at, or you look around and you look over at the door and you see that there was actually a dart trap rigged there. Halia is leaning against the counter and she's got that shit-eating grin smirk on her face and she says, "You're smarter than you look. You passed the first test."
I mean, I was originally just trying to prove a point, but I mean, I'll take it.
Pettiness is a good enough drive for something like that. I like it. So, you were able to actually keep two people alive, from what I found out, that, actually stuck around. A cadre of them ran off, along with some cloaked figure. I assume that was who was leading them. But, deal is a deal. Your pay, she forks over the money that she owed you, which, if I recall correctly, because I actually don't have my book here, I probably should grab that, was 100 gold for this job.
Ooh.
Let me double check that before you write it down, though. Ooh, here we are. Yep, 100 gold. She says, and I would like to extend to you the chance to broaden your horizons. That poison that I gave you, that was just a taste. I have better things in the back that I feel you would be remiss not to learn. Things from carrier crawler venom to wyvern poison, and I do believe I also have some midnight tears. Though I'm sure those names probably go over your head, but they won't soon enough, if you'd like to learn.
Oh, I already walked over here, so might as well. Plus,
Good.
anything that makes the job easier, I guess is worth taking.
So throughout the night, Halia spends the time teaching you not only poisons, being able to identify, being able to properly use, and being able to protect oneself against these poisons when you are trying to apply them or use them against the intended recipient. But she also teaches you more sinister things, how to properly get the jump on somebody. She pulls out medical books complete with full detailed uh, muscular systems, vein systems of every one of the common races in Faerun, from dwarves to gnomes to humans to elves. She teaches you how to properly assassinate your enemies. One moment. All right, sorry about that. Oh, I need to hang on a minute. Okay, one second. All right, sorry about that. But she teaches you how to properly. Don't do that. Uh, she teaches you how to properly assassinate your targets, and she also teaches you a little bit of medical knowledge on how to learn just by a look where an enemy might be most vulnerable. It's not that much medical knowledge. It's generally eyes, throat, heart, generally about the same in most creatures. She teaches you how to harvest venom from uh, poisonous creatures, how to scrape off and gain the ability to collect your own poisons. And at the end of it all, when the sun rises, she smiles and says, "You learned all that far quicker than I expected. I'm impressed."
Eh, with my archery skills, I already had a basic knowledge of anatomy and where to hit.
Regardless, there's one final uh, gift I would like to offer you. I represent a group of people gathered together for their own self interests, a sort of guild of thieves, rogues, and scoundrels, known as the Zentarum. I don't know if you've heard of us, and if you have, then you probably shouldn't have. But we're sort of the secret hand that pushes things along here and there, that we come out on top. You could come out on top too, if you'd like.
We'll see about it. What's in it for me, or is there any sort of knowledge I could gain from joining the group?
Are you asking me or her that?
Her? I mean,
She
I guess it
smiles
would be
and she
both.
says, well, so out of character, if you're asking me, we'll go through that first. Roll me a history check at disadvantage. They are a secretive group, so you probably not have not heard of them
History at this.
at disadvantage. Exactly the same with both rolls. With a 12, you have heard of them in name only. You've heard whispered tales of these Zentarum agents, but you've not really paid it much mind. The name is the only thing that really reminds you of anything, but she explains, she says, well, we have all sorts of capabilities. If you need something fenced that you've stolen and need a buyer for, we can get you hooked with that. You need poison, we can get you hooked up with that. If you need um, if you need to find your way out of a sticky situation, say you perhaps slit the throat of somebody who was being watched or stole something that shouldn't have left its home, we can get you out of a situation like that. And something that I feel you would be most interested in here is we take care of our members. If you happen to die on the job, your wife will be taken care of, and she will be none the wiser. It will come in ways of donations, and we'll keep what you were and what you are to us secret. You are not but another hidden hand in the shadows. There's no need for names or faces.
Obi crosses his arms and just kind of mulls over in his head. Well, I guess I'm in that because knowing the kind of work we do, my end could come sooner than expected, and I'd really hate to have Moira struggling on her own. So I go to put out my hand towards her in a handshake. So,
She
where
takes
do I sign?
she takes your hand. She says, "There's no signatures. Like I said, you're just another faceless, hidden hand in the shadows. We know who you are. That's all that matters." As she releases your hand and pulls away, you see she palmed into your hand a necklace. The necklace is pretty simple. It's just a steel chain, real small, very fine, and a tiny silver jeweled dagger, maybe about the size of your thumb, at the end of it. Welcome aboard.
Anything else you got for me before I start heading back?
That's it. Come calling if you need anything.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, on your allies and organizations, you may add that you are a new recruit to the Zentarum. And we'll type that out for you.
Okay, Zentarum. Okay. Uh,
You
okay,
can
I see it's in the
also
bio section.
abbreviate it as Zent, because they also do go by the Zent.
Alright. See, when you first said it, I thought you said centaur. I'm like, I ain't got no horse legs.
You need to make me a Constitution saving throw. The DC for this is higher because this is actually the second night that you have stayed so long up, first being to fix up Draxus's weapon, and now it's to learn stuff. You are very bushed. Make me a con save.
Wait, what about
See how well you're
Draxus's
handling.
weapon?
What was that?
What'd you say about Draxus's weapon?
To fix it up, you
Oh,
took
yeah,
his
yeah,
greatsword.
yeah. Okay. I got you.
This is the second day in a row that you've actually done this. So I need a con save. You have a point of exhaustion. So what this means is you have disadvantage on ability checks. So any sort of skill check that you'd like to make, you will be rolling twice, and you'll be taking the lower number until you get yourself a night's rest. Luckily enough, there's not really anything going on. You probably can do that.
I was getting ready to say I was already in the middle of trying to go to sleep when this one had broken my
Yeah.
fucking house. Is there a place to put the level of fatigue at or exhaustion at, or is that just a mental
Uh,
note?
it I might not have set it up for the character sheets for this, but yes, there should be. I might need to set it up real quick for you. As a note, if you get 6 levels of exhaustion, you die, but you get rid of them if you take long rests and take care of your body.
Are we getting one pizza or two pizzas?
So, little thing. I know this might not matter much right now to you guys, but to me it's real. So, our company does everything to prevent us from like going to certain websites and stuff like that because they're bad, right? I can if I go in incognito mode, it bypasses it, and I get to open up Roll20 on my work laptop now.
Wow.
All right.
So I go to leave the shop through the window.
Going to leave the shop through the window. You leave the shop throughout the window in the bright early morning. You happen to hop out the window right as what let's see roll me a d20 to see which one of the natives of Phandalin you happen to find. 3. Let us see who you encounter. You encounter Trelina Stonehill, the wife of the barkeep. As you leave, she's uh, you leave through the window, and you see that she was leaving a anonymous basket at the uh, doorstep of the Drindar family, as a way of saying welcome back and sorry you had to go through all that. Just a little anonymous charity. She kind of looks over at you and gives you a very quizzical, curious look and shrugs and just continues throughout her walk. All right. Uh, I assume you sleep for the day to get rid of that level of exhaustion, since
Yeah.
it's actually now we're caught up with where everybody else is in time wise. Brock, are you and Tree ready?
Yeah, we're good. You all hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, but like
Uh,
I was saying a moment ago, actually, because I'm on my work laptop, is over at my parents' house. If I go if I put Chrome into incognito mode, I can actually access Roll20. It doesn't block it.
Hmm.
So I have all my stuff.
Sweet. That works. Um, so going back to where everybody is, following you again, you wake up after so long and Moira's cooking and you smell the aroma of chicken noodle soup and dumplings, a meal that she often makes when you're feeling under the weather. I guess the fact that you slept in so late and after everything, she thinks that you probably need it.
I sneak up behind her and playfully nibble on her neck.
Uh, make me a stealth check.
And I'm back to normal, right? After I slept?
You are back to normal at this point
Okay.
because you did have your long rest.
The only 20 of the game.
Nice. You frighten her quite a lot with that, sneaking up on her to the point where she reels around. You didn't realize she had a knife in her hand, and she almost
Fuck.
stabs you. Obelisk! Dark Anvil! With all the red brands, do you really think that was a good idea?
I mean,
Sneaking
with
up on
you,
me like that.
yes.
How are you feeling? You slept in pretty late.
Yeah. It was more, well, it was less I was actually tired and more a little bit of the depression. Finally coming to terms with Belle.
That's very fair.
What you got cooking?
Chicken noodle soup with dumplings. I think
Oh,
I'm trying to do a little bit of a surprise. I added a little bit of something. I want to see if you figure it out.
is it gizzards?
No. Do you want me
Damn
to add
it.
gizzard?
Let's just ignore that part. Sorry, I'm actually hungry right now, and chicken noodle soup with dumplings and gizzards sounds really fucking good right now. Sure, let's see what it is. Dipping a spoon in there and putting it up to my lips.
Tasting it. Make me a survival check, because technically cooking is underneath survival.
I was getting ready to say, like, did my wife poison this?
You done goof.
Obi, this is absolutely wonderful. And thinking about it, you're pretty sure that she used almond flour rather than wheat flour.
Use a different flour for the dumplings, babe.
I did. There's this flower that I got from Barthen's. It was really fine. It was really fine. And uh what was it he said it was? He did warn me to be very careful when I used it around the fire. Um I do believe that he said it was rye. It was just very crushed up rye. Which, if you guys know anything, rye is very potent in flavor.
Sorry, I was kind of laughing at the explosion part. Is like, did we really have to reference that again?
Yes, it was a reference.
I start smacking my lips as like, that is the second best tasting thing I've had this week. And then I start eyeing her.
And we are going to cut back to the Stonehill Inn as Lothar, you're there, correct?
No. That was Fluffy.
I got a buzz.
Sorry, it was weird. It wouldn't let me access the push to talk unless I was in this window.
Odd.
Learn something new every day. But yeah, I'm
Yeah. You are sitting in the tavern after the commotion that was Lenar's outburst of magic. First outburst of magic, when you happen to hear your voice come from the door as the doors open to the bar. It's a voice that, while others would think of being yours, to your keen ears and the fact that you know this person so well, you know exactly who this is. Tree, if you would like to describe your character as they walk in.
So as I walk, pull down my hood, all you can see is just pure black feathers. A couple scars you can see where there might be a feather or two missing in a line. But the eyes light up as they fall on this very strange human creature that has a very unique voice and runs over and embraces Lothar in a very tender, sweet hug.
Well, I'll be if it isn't my sweet dear husband. Insert name here.
Insert name here. What have you figured out what your character's name is yet, Tree?
I think I'm gonna go with Ginkgo.
Ginkgo.
My dearest Ginkgo, I am so glad to have seen you today. We have been through some troubles of late. It has been mighty difficult.
Ginkgo, how do you respond?
I'm so glad you
My
still
dear
draw a
Lothar,
breath.
I'm so glad to see you again. I miss you so much.
So I gave you a stand-in art for now. So we get to show to players, if it will allow me to. In player's journal, all players save changes. Now you should be able to see Ginkgo. Does that art work for you for now?
She said, yeah, that's good.
Cool.
We're functioning off of my one set of wireless earbuds right now.
I can.
That's right, yeah, you can.
Alright, do. Alright. That's why that was happening. Got it. So yeah. To Scarlet, to Lothar, and whoever else is in the tavern here, you would see this bird person. I'm going to give you all a little bit of time to roleplay because I need to order a pizza real quick. Roleplay amongst yourselves for a second.
My dear friends, it is my honor to introduce you to my husband, Ginkgo. We have met during the war, and we have found bonds with each other.
Sorry. Trying to set up my push to talk.
You're fine.
I can tell by your stern
Yeah.
silence that y'all not unaware. We met during the war and seek comfort with each other at an emotional level that I have never experienced before.
Draxus, you can be back at the bar now.
What?
I assume you got done with your training, unless you were gonna do something else.
See, I'd come walking in and be like, what the hell? I thought we left the bird behind. They vanished.
My dear friend, this is my husband, Ginkgo.
Husband? What? I thought that was against the golden rule.
My dear friend, we do not engage ourselves into sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
This is a companionship of pure love and emotion.
I mean, I get it. I'd walk down, introduce myself, and hold out my hand.
So, if you'd like to describe what your character looks like real quick, Draxus, since this is the first time she is meeting any of your characters, actually.
Drax is a 6 foot tall tiefling, horns, has black tribal tattoos down his arms, a scar over his eye from an old fight. Has a totally legitimate, awesome, amazing, totally not evil sword on his back.
How did I know that was coming?
It's very evil. She didn't realize that she was muted.
Got it. I fixed it. I shake his hand, and I'm staring at the scar above his eye, and I crick my head just a little bit, just as I'm looking at it, and then I look back down into his eyes, and what you would assume would be a smile for meeting someone, but you can only assume because it is a beak. Can't quite tell. Do I sense that the sword is evil? Like, would I roll a check? Or is that something?
I know what it was. Because I sent it to Mom and Ray's. It's got their zip code. Sorry about that. If you want to sense if the sword is evil, I don't think that is something that your character would be capable of without some sort of magical assistance. However, if you were able to
I
get
don't
a look
think
at
the
it, you could
sword, like,
probably do an
lifts
Arcana
me.
check.
Like, I wasn't sure if it was something maybe I've come across. Like, I don't know if it's something I would have come across. Like, if there was like the creation of the sword, or like, you know, the maker of the sword, some telltale sign of it is something that I would be hesitant of. I don't think so. 'Cause I don't think I have like high enough. Like, if I did a check, I just wasn't
Yeah,
sure on the check.
we'll say make me a religion or Arcana check to see if you know anything about this.
Do this. Stop.
Everybody, 1 second.
I ain't quite fucking. Uh huh.
Now, I know my character wouldn't call out that it is evil to the other people, but it was just something to be aware of. Or that my character just gonna keep in the back of their mind. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna call it, because my character knowing that just because something looks evil doesn't mean it is. Just is something that they just want to be aware of.
Does it taste good at least?
No.
The tea or the other one?
The other one.
Sensitivity.
Aren't they the
Oh, on sensitivity?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Hmm?
Oh god, so apparently I have to have the window open to use it. Damn it, that sucks. Sorry, I was hoping that if I opened it up on... I was hoping if I opened it up on the incognito tab, it might allow me to speak without having to have the actual window open. I guess because I don't have the app on this phone. I mean, on this computer, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can download the app. I gotta do things to be able to download shit. The fact that I can even open up Roll20 though is amazingly great. So how's everybody doing?
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. It's been a rough day, but it's a long story.
Sorry.
I'm ruining the game for everyone. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm guessing they're asking about me again.
No, they're asking how everyone's doing.
But hey, less than a month for your apartment.
Oh, I know. I'm like super fucking excited. You have no idea.
Better start packing now, So that like literally the day comes, you can be out of there in like an hour.
Excited
Oh
about
yeah, I've already been getting boxes from work, and I have the entire trunk of the Jeep just filled with boxes. But ironically, the health department came to inspect today, and according to Dad, so he says, they said absolutely nothing about the condition of the house, but Bailey told me the truth. They complained about the furnace, they complained about the toilet upstairs, and about the condition of the basement. Because it leaks, and he has people living down there.
and the gas water line.
And they complained about the fact that the water line was fixed with the gas line, but he claims they didn't say anything to him.
So what's gonna happen? Are they gonna like literally condemn it and make you guys leave the house or something?
I thought so, but he says apparently the people are coming to turn the gas back on Monday. But I don't think that's the full truth because he already didn't tell me the full truth.
I think we're getting evicted.
You just take care of you two. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know what didn't help?
Well, and then your pets.
You wanna know what didn't help?
Oh.
The fact of after you left for work and after, like, I'm kind of glad I didn't come and get me. Because after you left for work, I spent literally 2 hours after you called me
Yeah.
growing up. So, and you can tell about how pale my face is. The way she looked at me, she knew I lived down there. Her dad told her. The way she looked at me and how she asked if I was okay.
Yeah.
She knew that the basement was probably making me sick.
Sorry about that. I was helping the wife with applying some medical bandages.
Genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, is she
medical
okay?
bandages?
Kinesiology tape. It's from a carpal tunnel. Like,
It's still a medical
I'm not
bandage.
looking profusely or broken.
I think it's still considered a medical bandage, though. Okay, medical tape.
There we go. Thank you.
So, yeah, sorry about that. I have entirely lost where we're at. I am so sorry.
She made a religion check on my sword.
Thank you. With a 19, you would be able to realize that it is, in fact, infernal in make, which would be sorry, I should back up. You are also new to D&D, correct?
Yeah, fairly new. Yes.
Okay. So you would realize that
Yeah.
it is infernal in make. So that means it is tied to the 9 hells and devils and those which would not wish the destruction of the universe, but see it ruled by them. Underneath a tyrannical fist. In fact, tieflings are the same. Tieflings come from the hells. They are, well, they're not from the hells. Their lineage is from the hells. So, Jaraxxus being a tiefling, it's kind of fitting that he happens to have a infernal sword.
Okay, my character would just make a mental note of it. They wouldn't really alert the party to it. Again, knowing that, recognizing him as a tiefling, would just kind of mentally take the note, keep that, in their head in case something were to come up. But knows that, just because something looks evil doesn't mean it is. Just because something, it might fall under what some people would say is bad, might just only be that in appearance, but not in actuality. So just kind of keeps that tidbit in the back of their head.
All right.
I mean, infernal, race, infernal weapon. I mean, checks out. Looks normal. Everything good. Move on.
Ginkgo, some of the patrons that you see around the place, you happen to see a beautiful half-elf priestess sitting in the back with a dwarven woman. You happen to see a very pale-skinned woman sitting at the bar. She seems to be, I do believe she was drinking last time. You see 2 kids playing around the bar, and you see a fairly burly barkeep flirting with one of the servers.
Huh?
You see, in addition to all of that, a kobold, which kobolds are very tiny lizard-like people, and by very tiny I mean like 2-3 feet tall at max. He currently is sitting in the middle of the bar. There seems to be scorch marks like in front of him in a big wide arc. And he is currently holding his head and his chest a little bit, and he hiccups, and there's a little bit of flame that goes out of his mouth. But yeah, those are the colorful people in this establishment. But I'm sure the person who catches your eye most is Lothar. After introducing each other for a bit, a very hyperactive young child runs their way up to you, and in a voice that sounds like what us modern people would say a child that is being fast forwarded on a movie. He happens to walk up to you. There's even more candy than the rest of you had seen on his face previously. He's just still like absolutely sugar hied up. And he just looks up at you and says, "You're a bird, you're a bird, you're a bird. Hi, you're a giant bird. Do you eat worms like a bird? Oh my gosh. Let me go find some worms." And he literally bolts out the door and starts like digging in the dirt behind the bushes out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I need to change the music.
Yeah.
Does he actually hand me worms, or is that going to come up later?
Yeah.
You wait for maybe like a half minute, and this kid comes back. His forearm is absolutely covered with dirt. His nails are caked, and he actually has a it's not a worm, it's actually a centipede. He just holds it up to your face and he says, "Do you eat bugs?" "Do you speak?" Very quiet.
Why, thank you. I will eat it later.
And I put it in my pocket as to not offend the child.
The child smiles, then he reaches into his pack, and you realize that he kept one of his hands as clean as he could, specifically so he could take out candy. He shoves a peppermint stick in his mouth, and he pulls out a second one and hands it to you. He says, "Dessert afterwards."
I take it with a grin.
And then he goes to hand a peppermint stick to you, Jiraxis.
I take it and I apologize and tell him that the fact that they can blame Scarlet for it for giving him a whole gold piece for candy.
And then he turns to Lothar and he hands you 2 peppermint sticks.
Huh?
Wow, my dear boy, I do appreciate it. This is so kind.
And he runs over to Scarlet and he actually takes out a big old handful of like 10 of them. And he goes to hand them to Scarlet. Scarlet is not here at the moment, but she will do as she will with that. And you see this little kid just super hyped up on sugar, seemingly running around the bar, handing everyone peppermint sticks. And like with every person he hands a peppermint stick to, he like puts another in his mouth, and like it's gone by the time he gets to the next person.
This kid ran out yet?
No.
He has a whole gold piece. You think he's gonna run out?
What's the kid's name?
But after a bit, the kobold walks up to you, Jiraxis, and hiccups a little bit, and another little but it seems to be diminishing with every single time he hiccups.
Birds
And he looks up at you and says,
So what's the plan? Or what's happening? You you with the red brand's gone. What are you guys gonna do next? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting a little meeting, a powwow?
Actually, no. I need to speak to Lothar, and I actually need to speak to everybody because Sildar decided to come and see me while I was outside practicing my swordsmanship and everything.
Oh, okay. Is everything okay? Should I go grab everyone?
Yeah, if he could, if Scarlett's available to come, but I think she's rather indisposed at the moment.
about this time, Obi, you are entering the Stonehill Inn.
Huh?
With pussy.
Or you can enter the Stonehill Inn.
Yeah, I need a drink.
Alright, so, Obi, if you'd like to describe who enters the door this time.
Yeah.
What's Obi look like since Ginkgo is seeing these people for the first time?
Okay, I gotcha. So, entering the tavern, you see a dwarf, dark hair, medium to long sized beard, rather dark looking clothes. His eyes are a little bit dark and baggy. He's been through some things recently. A little bit tired still. Immediately goes and sits at the bar and hollers for Tobin to get him a pint.
Yeah.
Toblin very quickly gets you a pint. He sets it down in front of you and says, "You look like shit. You need two?"
Yeah, might as well.
He gets you a second one, and then a third mug next to those two, but this time is filled with water.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Barkeep goes back to cleaning mugs, and he goes back to flirting with one of the individuals in there.
Well, Obi's right there. I'll grab him. Obi, when you're done with your drinks, Juraxis says he wants to talk to everyone about something that I guess Sildar said.
Alrighty.
You okay?
More or less.
Are you also like spitting fire now?
What do you mean spitting fire?
With how tired you were, I don't know if you would have noticed or not. The front half of the establishment is singed.
I mean, can't really spit fire, but I'm sure enough, potent enough booze and a flame, I could probably do it. Also, Tobin, what the fuck happened?
You mean? What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't notice it when I first came in here. I was kind of more focused on getting a drink in me than anything, but why does something look a little on the burn side?
The little lizard boy next to you.
Lenard opened up a special gift that he had deep inside. We are very proud of him.
I feel like I have the worst heartburn I've ever had in my life.
Well, I mean, I'm not much into woodwork, but I suppose I could fix that up later for you if you need.
It'll be fine. I'm sure it's just nothing but a little buffing it out. Or throwing a rug over it. One of the two.
Obi, get your ass over here. I need to talk.
5 fucking minutes alone in this place. I chug down the rest of my beer and start wandering over.
Ginkgo, what are you doing while they
Fuck
are
do you want?
having this? Or are they while they are talking like amongst themselves?
I'm pulling out my string of newly acquired coins from my most recent trip and showing them off to my husband and pointing at each one and telling him that there's only like 2 new ones that I've acquired since I've last seen him, which has been quite some time at this point, actually. And at a time, I've only found 2 new coins, but I am enthralling him with the stories of the distance I walked to get each one. They are on almost what you would call a chest piece, but it's very lightweight. It just has a couple coins attached to it with leather rope or leather straps. Most coins I have actually kind of drilled a hole of some sort to attach it.
Was it spicy?
And I'm pointing
Yeah,
out
but
the
that's not what I'm fucking
different,
about.
the ancient, the 2 new coins that I have in addition. And you hear in his very ridiculous accent these names that most wouldn't recognize. But then I
All
vote
right.
him to continue on if he's going to join his group for the discussion that he may follow.
Do you listen in on the discussion? Do you like sit there with everyone else, or do you go off to the side?
I step a few feet away just in case if it was something that I should not be privy to, but I do
All right.
remain within earshot if necessary, as I feel might be necessary, just so I can kind of hear. But I do give them some space.
All right, so you're able to very much listen in on this conversation. So yeah, Obi and Draxus and Lothar, you can discuss amongst yourselves about everything.
So, I went outside and I was practicing my swordsmanship, and Sildar decided to come up and was talking to me. He decided to enlighten me that further north there's a big group of goblins called the Mini Arrows tribe, as I was mentioning the fact that we have not found Gundren yet. It's up past the ruins of Coneybury, which is my home. And I was thinking it's about time we actually start deciding to try to find this other hiree of ours, if you guys haven't forgotten about him. But as we're traveling north to go and see them, I was hoping that we could go past the ruins of my home so I could pay my respects, if that was up to you guys.
My dear friend, that sounds like a lovely idea, and I think it is far overdue for us to find our friend.
Do you plan on adding another head to your collection?
I mean, if the opportunity presumes itself, I say kind of like accentuating the head of Clark on my belt. It wouldn't be a part in myself.
Ginkgo, you would be able to see that Draxus actually has a severed head on his belt. It looks to be of some sort of very fuzzy, snub-nosed creature of some sort. You've probably seen them before, so I will tell you that he has a bugbear's head on his belt. I'll show you what one of those looks like. As I pull out creatures and I go to the bugbear. This is what a bugbear looks like.
I know it's
I have blown it up for your
Huh?
viewing
I
pleasure.
know it's spicy.
Jalapenos.
Huh?
Got
I
one
had
of their
also
heads.
blown it up at one point.
Smokies.
No, you blew up goblins.
Same cave.
Yes, it was the same cave. But yes, yeah, you see that on his belt.
Also up north, he told me that Gundren's brothers have a mine up there. If we can't happen to find him, they may know something. But we did get a bit distracted with Obi's town here and forgotten the fact that Sindrar's partner is still missing. So we still do need to find him.
To be fair, I never forgot.
What?
It's just I had higher priorities.
As a note, he just said that Mountain Toes mines were nearby, so like nearby here was what he was going for, not nearby up north where you'd be going.
Alex blocked me and shit, blocked me on Facebook.
So Mountain Toe is near Phandalin, whereas the goblins and the orcs were seen up north. Just to clear that up for you.
Well, Drax, as much as we have been through together, I feel like it is only right to do in this direction as well.
I would not mind paying respects to my family that died while we're adventuring, if that is okay with you guys.
That is admirable and
Stop
wonderful.
crying.
I'm not. I'm drunk. What about you, Obi? Do you mind if we start up north towards the last place that somebody may have seen him and pay respects to my family while we're on the way up there?
Jesus fucking Christ.
What?
Sounds fine to me.
Stop just making
Although
that
I've got my own
voice.
respects
I
today
feel like
before
I'm
we
gonna
leave.
like start sobbing with you. Sober up, damn it.
I look over to where Scarlett's on the bar and realize she's had a bit too much to drink. If realize we may have to load her into a cart.
Out of all of us, I'm the sober one.
I realized I had to make
Not my monkey, not my circus.
Laziness. Pussy. I had a wild night.
Obi, with your high enough passive perception, you'd definitely be able to tell that the Kinku, the raven folk that Lothar was conversing with, it does seem to be listening in on the conversation from a nearby table.
I just look over at the creature and just motion him towards me. Like, I'm just gonna assume you're being added to the party, yeah? Talking to Lothar and all that.
Hey, did we take a vote?
Well, if you would take a month, I'll gladly go with you.
Lenar pipes up and says,
I think I'm being added to the party too, right?
I decide to object for everybody and say, of course you are.
Neat. Never been an adventurer.
Just do me a favor, keep your distance. If you get hurt, I may have to go murdering somebody.
Also, Lenar, about that fire breathing of yours.
Yeah,
How did you do it again?
I have no clue.
Oh, what's happened when it happened?
My stomach felt like I was going to throw up, and then I opened my mouth, and then fire came out.
Ginkgo, What skills are you proficient in again? Treat?
Sorry, I was putting in eye drops.
You're fine. What skills are you proficient in?
Alright, I'm holding hers while I'm looking at it.
You're fine.
His skills.
Acrobat.
Acrobatics, athletics, insight, investigation, medicine, strength, stealth, and survival.
All right. So with a, can you roll me a medicine check, please? With a 12, while you've never really dealt with it, you would happen to know that kobolds are related to dragons. So, seems that the little kobold that be joining on the journey perhaps has a little bit more dragon blood in him than the average. So that's probably where his powers are coming from. Doesn't seem like he's got a very good control over it, though.
And then I'm going to tell Brian what to say. He's going to do the voice.
I'm curious on what it would sound like if you tried to do the voice.
We'll try. Well, I think this kobold, you might have a little bit more dragon in him than one would first believe.
I have dragon in me?
A little bit more than the average kobold might. Yeah. You're welcome.
So would it be safe to call you a Dragonborn?
No, Dragonborn, they're a lot bigger than I am. I know I kind of look like one. Like if I turn this way, I do kind of look like one. I think. At least when I'm looking in the mirror, I like to think I look kind of like a Dragonborn. But enough about me. Lothar, why are you speaking out of that Kenku's mouth? How are you speaking out of that Kenku's mouth?
My dears Lenard, I am not speaking for my husband. My husband speaks for themselves. However, they do have to use a different voice, and he has grown mighty fond of my own, and he intends to infatuate on that voice.
As a note, Kinku actually do have their own voice. They don't need to mimic. They can mimic.
I like using the mimic as the voice because it's funnier to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah. Lothar nods and says,
I didn't know you were married.
I am indeed. I do not often speak of my personal relations as they do not pertain to the situations we are at hand.
Well, don't adventurers go on like dangerous missions and stuff?
As we do, but my husband as well does the same. We frequent each other as when we can, keeping salutations with each other.
But if we didn't know that if you were married, how would have sent word that you died to your husband? If you died, not that I would want you to die. Don't die.
It
He
is a
almost
ha-
died. Don't.
it is a hazard that we do face and a fear that we do hold. However, so far faith has aligned themselves to allow us to be with each other once again.
Lenore at this turns to Draxus and he says,
I know Obi's married. Are you married as well, Draxus?
No, not yet. Although I did save his life multiple times, even though it may be of questionable means.
Well, do you have any loved ones that we would want to tell if you ever kick the bucket?
The only loved ones I have are here with me. All of my loved ones, unfortunately, have. I just kind of space out and stare off into space, having a bit of survivor's guilt of the only survivor of the town so far. They're all, they're gone. They're gone so far.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'd ask Scarlet, but I think she's kind of out of it. Well, hopefully hopefully you can find new family, Draxus.
My family is all here with me, Lennar.
Is that like a metaphysical, like their spirits are with you in your heart, or like are you trying to be like nice and be like, where your family?
Family is what you make it, Lennar, and all of my family is currently here in this tavern with me. So yes, you are part of the family.
Aww.
Kobolds can't blush, but if you would think that he's currently blushing if he could blush.
Does that make me the alcoholic uncle?
I don't know, but I think you'd be alcoholic regardless.
Oh, see, he knows you, Obi.
I would hope that I know him. I've kind of lived in the same town as him for a while. Kind of have a rapport built. So, we're gonna go find Gundren.
Well, if it's of everyone's agreements, I would love to head north to, yes, find Gundren, but I would love to start by stopping by Coneyberry to pay respects to my family, if that is okay.
Okay, where up north? Because just up north kind of doesn't really say a lot. There's a lot of stuff up north. Ten Towns is up north. We're going to Ten Towns.
What Sildar said was northeast of the ruins of Coneyberry is the place to start. If not there, then we could start by going to Gundren's brothers. They may know something of his whereabouts.
All right, so we are going to implement something new. So I'm going to bring you all to the area map real quick. So who would like to be the party's cartographer?
Well, I'd say leave that to Lothar. He has the most experience with areas. I'd say.
In terms of like actually writing stuff on the map. Like I am giving you guys permission to start drawing on the map so you guys can figure out where stuff is. Since part of being an adventurer is adventuring.
I'd say leave it to Obi, but I'm pretty sure he's the one that drew the dick on the map and completely forgot about it.
Wait, what?
Well, I know I didn't do it, so you had to have done it. So I'd say Obi.
So, would you like to be the cartographer then, Obi?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Where's the erasure mark? Never mind.
getting to talking and discussing with Jaraxxus, since this is going to be a known location rather than a found location. Right here, where the road splits off, is the ruins of Conyberry. If you would like to mark that somehow, that way you would be able to know what it is, whether that be through writing it out or otherwise.
Spell Conyberry.
CONYBERRY.
All right. I guess.
Do you need me to move that for you?
No, I'm trying to blow up the text on it so it's actually fucking readable, but every time I click the number to change the font size, it goes away.
I got it for you. What color would you like it to be?
Put it in red. Greater
Red.
contrast of the green.
I don't know if red would work there. Right, maybe. Blue is a nice color. Unfortunately, there's no like black outlined with white. Yellow? No, not yellow. Pink. Green, that'll totally go through. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good one for you.
You're fine.
I guess red will have to do. All right. So, I don't know how to make that so it's a little bit, oh well. But yeah, you can also, with a draw tool, draw stuff on the map if you would like as well. Once you are done, let me know so I can get you back to the normal map.
Get straight.
I'm fine.
Do I need to use a priority test?
Oh, that lime
No.
green was very bright.
You're not
It
gonna
showed up
make it,
very,
is that
very
right?
nicely.
Yeah, that'll work for now.
All right,
I love you.
get you the fan one.
Okay. You're done with alcohol tonight. You're cut off.
Good.
So,
How many fingers am I holding up?
all of you
Two.
being
With both eyes
at
open.
the Stone Hill,
How many fingers am I holding up? With
That's
both
not
eyes
fair.
welcome
no,
back,
wait. How many
Lothar.
fingers am I holding up with both eyes open?
Both
eyes open.
So,
No.
seems the party has
Three.
decided
No.
to go
Yeah.
up north. But Leonard kind of asked, well, where up north? Up north is pretty vague.
He wasn't very specific. He just said northeast of the Coneyberry ruins.
Perhaps we ask him, or maybe there's maybe there's something up there that would be of interest to them.
I mean, that is quite possible. Just at the time, he just told me northeast of the Coneyberry ruins. He wasn't very specific at the time.
Can we see him from here?
Sildar is not in the. Y'all are still in the Stonehill at the moment. But you'd have to go to the Town Master's Hall if you'd like to see Sildar. Do you want to go to the Town Master Hall?
Yeah.
All right. So trudging over to the Town Master's Hall. The day seems to be pretty nice. Not really. Very nice sunny day, almost as if a good start for new beginnings. Ha ha ha. There it is. Trying to find out where the description of it is. Oh well. Yes, it's not in there. Going over to the Town Master's Hall, you happen to see Sildar actually is outside. He's nailing up papers to what looks to be a notice board. He looks over. He's got a couple of nails in his mouth, and he's got a hammer in his hand. And he looks over and says, "Oh, you got the whole crew here. Draxus." I'm going Toblin's close. Draxus, what's you coming to get those jobs I was telling you about? Got plenty.
Actually, I was wondering if you could be any more specific as to where the mini Irish tribe could be found. We're gonna start by going up to Coneyberry so I can pay respects to my family, and then moving a bit further northeast, but I just didn't know if you could be any more specific as to where they could be found.
Oh, really, pretty much everywhere. Big Al, he's got a ranch up there. You'll probably be able to talk to him. He tends to keep an eye up on there. He's a old lawman back in the day, and well, he probably got a good idea where they might be. Beyond that, the only thing that I have in the notes on it, he takes a look at the actual paper itself. He says, well, says that they've been seen around the foothills. So I guess maybe around the foothills just south of like your old home. But there. Actually, that's kind of around where old Owl Well is. And he takes a look at another one of the papers and says, Darren said he heard word of necromancy going on at old Owl Well, so 2 birds, 1 stone if you're heading up there. If you're up for it, that is.
I mean, if we're up there, may as well do as much good as we could, and I quickly give a idea to Ginkgo as to why we're here, the fact that Sildar and Gundren hired us to bring a package down here, and we found Sildar, but not Gundren, and that's why we're looking for him.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, to give a quick rundown, the party had been hired by this dwarven individual by the name of Gundren Rockseeker to deliver some goods to Phandalin. Their other employer was Sildar Hallwinter. Sildar happened to have been found in a goblin cave. However, there was no sign of Gundren. The only thing that the party knows of Gundren's whereabouts is that King Groll was had given orders to bring any dwarves that were waylaid up to him, like bring them to him, and that's about it. I don't think there was any other whereabouts on Gundren that y'all had found yet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think that sounds about it.
All right. So the only thing that they have to go off of is the tribe of goblins that they encountered happened to be part of the Many Arrows tribe, and the orcs that seem to be terrorizing the area up north are also part of the Many Arrows tribe. Knowing all this, does Ginkgo have anything to input into this, since Ginkgo's traveling along with them now? Or does Ginkgo stay silent?
So, would I have any knowledge of them from the war?
The Many Arrows tribe?
No.
Oh, you would actually know Gundren personally. You would know that Lothar served beside him, and that briefly you helped out their platoon as a scout.
Which would make you more like wanting to do.
Okay, then yeah, my character. 1 second.
Oh yeah, Gundren, good fella. I would love to help him.
This is going to be very interesting. So Sildar actually sees you, Ginkgo, and kind of gives you a look of like, do I know you? And then like realization slowly dawns on his face as he realizes, I do know you. And he takes the nails out of his mouth and puts them in his pocket and sets a hammer on top of the bulletin board, dusts off his hands, and makes his way to you and offers his hand out. Ginkgo! It's been so long! Where have you been?
I'm sorry. What's this character? What is who am I shaking hands? What's the character's name? I forgot it.
This is Sildar Hallwinter. You would have served with him. You would know that he was almost like the commander of the platoon that you were in. And that he has the rank of a Griffin rider, because he actually would occasionally ride Griffins into battle. But that's long since past.
It was great to see you again. I do hope you appreciate my trinkets.
And I hold up my new trinkets I found, that I've recently grabbed.
Hold on.
He looks at him for a bit and he points at one. Is that a Silvery Moon coin?
Hey. Hey.
Well, my friend, that is a great eye.
You're taking care of yourself.
I haven't been to Silvery Moon in
You want upstairs? Babe.
years.
Fuck.
I need a vacation.
Fuck.
I'm gonna go to Silvery Moon soon. once all this is said and done.
Careful, 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 careful. Where's that?
I put my trinkets away and I
I don't
grin.
think
Well,
the
as much as a
bottles
bird
broken,
can
all the last
grin.
beads broke off.
Birds can grin.
I'll let them know.
But yeah. You meet back up with Sildar. Sildar kind of gestures to the bulletin board and says, "Well, there's any other jobs that interest you, or there's any other jobs that interest you, don't hesitate to take them. There's more than plenty to go around, but I'm sure those two will keep you busy for now."
Hey guys. So Perky's upstairs throwing up because he decided to drink too much alcohol.
Ah,
He drank something with else alcohol in it, and then he drank one of those like 4 Loca golden things on an empty stomach. So he's upstairs. He will be back.
Why was he drinking?
Because me and him were depressed, he's just a little less depressed.
He does realize that he has recently undergone surgery and alcohol is a blood thinner, right?
Yep. Yep. Healthy.
And he does realize that he can't really be puking considering all his.
I know.
Can you do me a favor and slap him upside the head for me?
Yeah. Because he stood up from his chair because he started barfing. I'm like, give me 2 seconds. I handed him a bucket. He like stood up, immediately fell back down. And he's currently upstairs blowing up the toilet and throwing up at the same time.
really?
Wonderful to know. How are you doing, by the way?
Trying not to die.
If I was there, I'd give you a hug and tell you it's all right.
I was gonna say, you offering me cuddles, bird? Jesus.
I offer all of my friends hugs.
Like, I'm okay, but like not okay. Like, I just don't have like any energy whatsoever.
Have you tried a monster?
I've drank
Totally.
3.
Totally understandable.
Like, I've drinking 3, and I'm just like, took a nap after all 3. And they were like back to back to back.
Well, you focus on yourself for now. Don't worry about having to be here at the game if you're not in the right headspace for it, all right?
I should be okay next week, hopefully. Maybe I'll be back on my drugs, I don't know yet.
Well, we would love to have you if you were able to, but don't feel like you're obligated to, all right?
Okay. So, like, you might just have to skip a couple, like, rotations on his side.
All right. So, yes, hi. Hello, Pat. But yeah, Sildar gestures to the board, and there is plenty of jobs there. If anybody would like to take a look, or if you would like to head out with what jobs you currently have.
I kind of feel like at the moment we're pretty good up because there's 2 different tasks right now on hand, and make sure we get those done first.
Oh, come on. You don't want to do the Skyrim approach of grab every job under the sun?
I was gonna say, because Kenkus have great memory. I was thinking I might read them all, only for the fact of then when we're up there, just trying to recall if anything's nearby. But it's like, I don't know if I want to make you have to read every single thing, but just kind of like, just so my character could keep note if there's anything that would be close by to us on our direction of some things.
You know, I would read them all out, but see, the thing is, I already writ them down, so I can just copy paste them.
I mean, that's a good move.
Yeah. All right. So, let me copy paste the ones that you would be able to see on the board at the moment and add them to your quests journal. That's the one. Quests. Edit. Paste. The others.
You okay?
Nope, those are the ones
You
that would
okay?
be on the board at the moment. So, if you all will go to the Discord, you will be able to find the quests channel. And in the quest channel, there is all of the quests that you have found
I'm not tell them that you're drunk.
that are still, open to complete.
You stood up and fell back down.
If you ever have a moment where you're like, I don't know where to go next, or I don't know what to do next, you can always go to one of these quests if you so feel like it, or you can always find others, or just wander off in a random direction.
Alcohol's a blood thinner.
Because that is a way of playing it. Just go east and never look back. Even when you get to the ocean, just continue walking.
Just like Thelma and Louise.
But if there's any of these that, so the ones that recently came up, Sentimental Sentinel, A Strong Foundation to Build Upon, No Place Like Gnome, and Sprucing Up Phandalin are the new quests that you guys see on the bulletin board.
That doesn't agree with my belly.
My character takes note because of the Kenku have great memory.
They do.
So that when we are adventuring, I can recall them.
All right.
I told him, I said, he's drunk. Like, he drank one of these thingies. And
Good
another
stuff.
thingy.
Oh,
I'm
while
thinking-
you guys are mulling over what you want to do next.
You just need a lay down.
Seeing as how we're probably going to be
Want the
leaving
fan
here
on?
soon, I'm going to go take care of some
What?
business.
Fan?
All right, Obi.
Throw up?
What do you go take care of business? What's
No.
the business you take care of?
Throw up?
Before we leave, I go and visit the Drendar household.
All right.
And after the rescue mission, seeing as how I'm going to be gone, I present Nars, the son of Thel, with a brand new sword with a noticeably different hilt. It's still wrapped in leather, but within it is a blue cloth that Nars would find familiar.
You see Nars, he kind of looks inquisitive at the fact that he's being handed a sword until he realizes the sentiment behind it, and
Did you take out
he
perfect
just
today?
very reverently takes the blade and kind of squeezes his hands from it and holds it to his chest and kind of like looks up and nods at you, silently thanking you, before he just steps forward and grabs you and pulls you into a hug. However, the height difference between human and dwarf anatomy makes you just kind of face first into his pecs.
It'll be alright, boy. I'm about to be heading off here soon, so if need be, you protect this town while I'm gone, alright?
He kind of pulls back a little bit and dries his eyes, and you see there, even after all the crying, like there's still a few tears to be shed, and he nods. Says, I don't know
Clear
if
off
I'll
the
do a
bed.
good job, but
Huh?
Clear
I
off the
can
bed.
try.
Why?
So I can lay down.
You leave it?
I'll
You laying
I'll
down
see
now?
if I'll
I
see if
might, I don't
Darren
know.
can teach me a thing or two.
That's alright, boy. That's all this town needs.
Okay.
Someone willing to try. Your father meant a great deal to
Do you
both
feel,
of us,
like,
so
sick?
I figured this was the best
Like
way
how you
possible to
usually
honor
feel when you
his
get
memory.
drunk?
And
Yeah.
look,
Clear off the
I
bed.
pull out my bow from behind me, and he
I'm
sees
working on it.
more blue of that blue cloth wrapped around the area where I usually hold my hand to draw the bow. I've got him with me as well.
He smiles and nods. You said you were heading out.
Yeah.
Where to?
Me and this little group of mine were heading up north, looking for a missing person, as well as
Can't.
allowing one of our party members to pay
I made
respects
you
to
get
his
in the
fallen
hospital. This
homeland.
is the first time you've had alcohol in a while, and I'm worried.
Narasi nods at that and
Fine.
says,
Well, fucking
"Well, it's
shit,
a
you're
shame
fine.
you just got back and now you're leaving
Right.
again." But
That's how life happens sometimes. Constantly on the move. But don't worry, I'll come back. I
You sh-
always come back.
well, you should, because we've got nail orders that are out the wall. Do you know how many nails I need to fix up this place?
It's a simple enough task. I'm pretty sure I've got them by the grateful at my shop. But you take care of yourself and the rest of y'all.
I will.
I give him one last hug before I depart.
He
And-
hugs back.
But actually, if you want to come, I was also going to pay respects to your father's grave before I left.
I'd like that.
Then I'd say we go off and have our own little moment and then pan back to the
Yeah.
rest of the party to see what they're doing.
We will have that little moment. However, it is 9 o'clock. And considering Bailey is not with us and
He's indisposed.
Perky is also indisposed, I'm going to have the session cut off here. So you guys do get some more time with Text RP. If you so wish, it'd be a perfect time to get to know each other, especially your new compatriot. Tree, one of the things that I do have here in this server is a Text RP channel. You are free to use it however you'd like for Text RP. In between sessions, so long as the story provides it. So